Welcome back to the Beast Gang Podcast. This is going to be a review for Blair Witch. Blair Witch is directed by Adam Wingard. He's directed You're Next and The Guest. It's written by Simon Barrett, who has the same credits as the director. It stars James McCune, known for Shameless and The Walking Dead. Callie Hernandez, known for Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, Machete, and From Dusk to Dawn TV series. Corbin Reed, who's been in How to Get Away with Murder and Kingdom. Brandon Scott, known for video game acting in Uncharted and The Last of Us. Wes Robinson, who has a lot of TV acting credits. And Valerie Curry, who has been in The Following, Twilight, and Veronica Mars. James, eviscerate. So let me just go ahead and stop.
Dude, don't play it out. Shit.
As the horror expert, would you like to go ahead and give your viewpoint on Blair Witch?
All right. One, this movie is perhaps the worst movie I've seen this year. Worst movie I've seen this year. It basically did the exact same thing, but changed it up a little bit, but just with better technology. That's all it is. And from the first one, I liked the first one. A lot of people did not like the first one, and some people really did like the first one, like myself. And the reason why I like the first one because it went old school horror. Old school horror, when I mean like the 1950s, 60s, when something was supernatural, you never saw what it was. So they left it up to the person's imagination, and that could be quite scary for some people. And for matter of fact, I'm not gonna say some, for a lot of people, because people's imaginations tend to run wild. Like, it depended on the actor to show fear so that the audience could to grab onto it. You know, it didn't rely on jump scares so much. And this movie, to me, it relied too much on jump scares. It was pointless. Everyone was doing something fucking stupid. Stupid as shit. The first one, they did some stupid shit, but not as much as this. This is fucking ridiculous. This movie, before the movie ended, I got up.
James,
and I was walking out.
Can I stop you for a second? Mm-hmm. Keith, what did you think of Blair Witch?
The first one?
I'm talking about Keith.
Oh, what I thought about it?
I mean, James is ready to go.
I went into this with low expectations.
When you guys had decided to go see the movie, James was like, hey, you guys want to go see Blair Witch? Obviously, I don't see horror movies, but you were like, yeah, I'll go see it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, let me just go check the reviews for this. And then you wanted to stop. But James convinced you anyway. But go ahead, Keith.
My expectations should have been even lower because it didn't even meet those low expectations. There was perhaps 2 moments in that movie where I was startled by something, but
I wasn't startled by shit.
They were almost telegraphed. And just as James said, it was pretty much by the numbers almost. You can count down to when a jump scare is going to pop out at you.
Yeah, because I was like, every time something's happening, I would throw my hand up. I said, hey, Keith, watch. As soon as I come back on, she's going to be right there. Boop, yep. Right there.
There she goes. And so what I felt about the movie, I thought that the movie was a waste of my time. And I'm kind of pissed off because I wasted time taking a shower, getting out of bed, and actually leaving the house to go see it. And
dude, I apologize
that movie was ridiculously bad. However, I will say this, as a comedy, it was average.
Okay.
Yeah, it had its fun moments.
It was average as a comedy, but as a horror movie and scary, it was ridiculous. As a movie as a whole, it was a piece of shit. And I felt that the folks were just doing stupid stuff.
Everyone was stupid.
Everyone was an idiot. You know, it was moments in the movie where it was like trying to build the tension, and I was just sitting there laughing because it was hilarious. And it was just like, what were they thinking? And the technology behind the movie, the technical directing behind the movie was pathetic. The first Blair Witch movie, that was a technical achievement. Even though they did it with one camera, they used one camera throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and that was the beginning of...
Everyone had a camera. Everyone had a camera hooked up to their face with some magical Bluetooth camera that hooked into their ear. You got full viewpoint and stuff. It was stupid. It detracted from the whole tension and stuff because you have multiple angles from where they would have multiple cameras to show things just so you can see the actors and stuff. It was stupid. It was completely dumb. The sound effects, like, what was with the animal sounds?
Thank you. See, they overdid it. They over fucking did it in this shit. It's like, oh, let's have sounds that make no goddamn sense. Like, like one sounds like someone's stomach growling and shit. I was like, what the hell? I know that can't be the witch. It's like it was just so bad, like so bad. It deep in my heart, I actually believed that this was going to get better. No,
No.
it didn't.
They finally get to the house, and they get there, and it's kind of like, okay, by the numbers, run up the steps. It was just there's a lot of running around and like them running and crawling through tunnels, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, why would you crawl through the root infested tunnel and like, no, like you ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the reason why she did that because there was nowhere else to go, really. But I agree with you, and oh man, to tell you the truth, that is the only part in this movie that had me kind of fucked up when she was crawling through the tunnel around the end, because I'm claustrophobic. I don't like shit like that. That freaks me out.
Well, let me just jump in for a second.
I felt uneasy.
Let me just jump in. This movie was directed by Adam Wingard, so the two people that directed the first Blair Witch did not direct this one. They weren't even writers on this as well, so they kind of handed the reins over to somebody else to help assist the franchise even further. So
there is no franchise.
As I might have mentioned earlier, it's directed by Adam Wingard, and previously he's been known for movies such as The Guest, You're Next, which I know to be terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, You're Next was not that great. It was at times entertaining, but whatever. Fuck that movie.
And he also directed portions of the ABCs of Death 2 and also VHS 2.
I know who he is. Okay.
Yeah. So for the direction, no, Keith was talking about the technical direction as it pertains to the characters, but what do you think about the direction of the movie overall?
It's terrible. It's utterly abysmal. The fault for this movie lies with everyone in the production crew, starting with the director, beginning with the writer, and the director,
because he wrote that bullshit.
Like, the fact of the matter is, they got lazy. They decided to have the actors, showing the actors and stuff. They should have stuck with just one camera. Instead, you had a way to have multiple angles to see what was going on, rather than try to work something out and actually direct the movie with this singular camera viewpoint. Instead, you've got you had about 10 cameras.
Yeah.
You had 10 camera viewpoints, and that I'm like, well, come on, man. So they had 10 camera viewpoints going on. Mm-hmm. And then they strung this movie together using those 10 camera viewpoints. It's ridiculous. That was pathetic. All right.
So you know what? The thing is, like, the original had 2 cameras. Two. And it was effective. The first Blair Witch, it basically centered itself on creating a tone. I've said this plenty of times. When horror movies, you have to create a tone. You had to set the mood. They did that just with 2 cameras. And I agree 100% with Keith. 4 people, right, that started off. They had Bluetooth cameras. They had those cameras, right? And then, like, the girl that was a videographer, she had her camera. And then they had a drone. It's like...
That sounds terrible.
Right. Not yet. And the 2 new people had an old style camera that was like the original camera from the Blair Witch movie.
So they had the VHS.
Exactly. They had a DV camera.
DV camera, okay.
Yeah.
And apparently that thing was indestructible. And they were just rolling around, running through water, through heavy downpour rain. And that camera survived and did all the things it was supposed to do. And there was a scene where where the girl Lisa was crawling through the tunnel after the psycho boy threw her down it. I guess it was a larder or something. And she crossed this tunnel, gets stuck. So she would throw the camera ahead of her, so you would get a shot of her face as she's crawling through the damn tunnel. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, lazy.
Why would you do that? I mean, I understand, like, from a filmmaking standpoint, I got it. You want them to see the angle, but no. If you want people to believe that this is actually happening, you wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't throw that there. I'd throw that camera up just to throw it up. I wouldn't throw it back to make sure, is my makeup on correctly? Let me make sure I get the right angle that I'm crawling through a fucking tunnel. Man, now that you mentioned the director and what things he directed, I remember he did do VHS. Now I know exactly who he is, and it makes sense. And I remember the one he directed in ABC's of Death. The one that he did in VHS, I think it was 2. Was it 2?
Correct.
It wasn't that bad. I think it was the first one. But this guy needs to just stick with shorts. and not even think about a feature film because he did shit. I can't even talk right now. I mean, it was just so bad. There was a so-called twist, But you know what?
There was.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Listen to this podcast and do not waste your money like I did and Keith did. Do not waste your fucking money. All right, so I'm gonna go to the first third of the movie. In the very beginning, it says that this videotape was found in the woods.
Hold on for a second.
Whatever it's called.
Can you hold on, James? So,
yeah,
if they had a drone and all this other stuff, who edited the movie or the tape that is found? I'm just asking a logical question. All right, I apologize about that.
Done so by the Blair Witch.
Yeah, she got Premiere and shit.
That's
she has Final Cut X and a whole bunch of plugins, and she edited it for jump scares. Okay, but go ahead, James. Let me not.
She had a bomb-ass Wi-Fi connection. The first third of the movie was that it came up just like the first movie. You know, black screen titles, just saying like, "Hey, this is footage from the Black Hills." I think it's called the Black. I don't even give a fuck what the woods are called, but it's found in the same woods that the first movie took place, and it said it was found 2014. So it goes to her brother, like the woman that the last, I ain't gonna say survivor, but her brother has been like trying to investigate her disappearance since the first movie. So that's been 17 years. So it was a video on YouTube that showed footage of someone running through the house, doing all this shit, like running like they were frantic and scared. And then there was a slight image in a mirror of a woman. So then he's like, man, I want to go and check this out. That could be my sister. I want to go see what's going on. He gets his friends to come along, a couple, and the videographer. They're all friends. So it's kind of like, we'll go to support you, but we really don't want to go. Because it seems like he's just been driven by the disappearance of his sister. So they decide to go. Peter is like, I guess, considered his best friend. I mean, he really did not want to go, but of course he went because that's his boy. And, he's like he was a skeptic amongst all of them. His girlfriend, she went because for the same reason, and plus her boyfriend went. It seemed like she was the most willing not to go. She did not really want to go, and they were kind of like, man, let's just go and support him. So they went to the Blackwoods, and that's what I'm gonna call it. I don't remember, but they went to the Blackwoods, and also in that area, they decided to meet up with the person that posted that video on YouTube, and he was like, "Yeah, I could take you where it is, but we want to go along." And then they were kind of like, "I don't know about that." Peter just straight up said, "No." And the thing about with Peter, he was a comic relief in the movie. He was funny, because he said some things that I could see myself saying. So then they had two more. They had, the person that uploaded the footage and his girlfriend, right? So they did that, and then they got to the certain point. It's like, okay, yeah, we're going to head to the Blackwoods. And that is where I'm going to stop, because at this point, nothing was really happening. It was just them preparing to go out and search for Heather based on that video. That's all it was.
This movie never should have been made. This guy, Adam Wingard, should never have attempted this. He just does not have the skill set necessary to pull off a movie like this. Like, the fact that you had like 15 to 20 different cameras just killed the whole found footage thing altogether.
Oh, don't forget the night vision camera that they put on a tree.
Oh, yeah. Oh. There you go. Yeah, of course, because, they wanted to watch stuff. And that camera was ridiculous because it didn't capture anything. All it did was just yet another wide angle just so you can see the all the actors and all their youthful and all their youthful glory and shit.
Yeah,
and the worst part about this was that whoever wrote the screenplay took the screenplay from the first movie and went with that. This guy, they decided, they were like, I can't generate the tension I need with just one or two cameras. I've got to use 50.
And the thing is, that just shows you how inept of a director he is, because you can actually do that a lot better, because that leaves more up to the imagination. That's all I've been saying. The reason why Blair Witch was liked by some and hated by others is because Most people that I know that liked it, they're into horror and they're into filming and they're into directing. They liked it because it built tension. It built fucking tension. This one did not build any tension whatsoever because you have every angle possible.
What do you mean?
Like real camera before the end.
You had about 3 shots of the Blair Witch herself, which was ridiculous. So the lore behind the whole Blair Witch didn't fit what was going on. It didn't fit with what was going on in the movie. You know, basically in the movie there appeared to be some kind of time paradox when the group split up. 2 were like alluded to being in the woods for days. Instead, the other group thought it was only a few hours.
Right.
That they were captured. They were caught inside these woods forever. They get to this house, this jacked up house, that house is huge. It does not take you 20 seconds to run from your front porch or your steps. All right, that's maybe 5 seconds tops walking.
And the fun thing about that house, which Keith pointed out to me, because at this point, like I said, I kind of like checked out. I wasn't even paying attention anymore. Like when they first went into the woods, they looked at a tree that like has been struck by lightning or something like that, right? And then they went deeper into the woods. So when they finally got to the house, that tree that they saw in the very beginning, when they first fucking stepped in the woods, it was right there, right there. I get the whole, it seems like it's an interdimensional shit too. The original Blair Witch, it did not have none of that shit. So what he did, what Keith and I could agree on, what they did is basically do the exact same script, just added stupid ass elements to it. We should never seen the Blair Witch. The whole lore of her was like her not being seen. The people that joined up with them, they gave more information about the Blair Witch, more legend shit. The legend of the Blair Witch. So they went into how like the Blair Witch was like strung up and killed, and they put rocks on her limbs so she has elongated limbs, kind of like Slender Man, something like that. So we didn't know about that in the first one. I was like, okay, well that's kind of cool. All right, we're learning more about this. If you've seen the movie, the first one, at the end, I believe it was Josh Corner, and just staring in the corner. We was like, what the hell's wrong with him? They explained that. They said the reason why he was looking in the corner because he didn't want to look at her, because if you basically looked at her, it was instant death, fucked up or some shit like that. So he was just standing in the corner. It also pulls back to like the legend of the guy that killed 8 kids. I think his name was Rustin Parr or something like that. They talked about that shit and how he had kids standing in the corner as well. That was fine. It was just that they just added unnecessary shit. Like in the first one, they had 3 days. 3 days, if I remember correctly. They first got there. Then they camped. Like they camped at night. Next day was, of course, morning. You saw the fucking sun. And then you went to sleep again. Next day, one of the guys were gone. Then went back to day. Then went back to night. At this point, the third time they went back to night, that's when the movie ended. This time they had day once. Like, well, I'm not gonna count when they first got there. That doesn't count. But then they had day. And then they had nights, and then they had day again. And that's when the group split up because they found out that the 2 people that they picked up were the ones that set all of that stuff up. They set up the symbol of the Blair Witch, all that stuff just to get them like kind of scared and riled up. See, that's why I was talking about that little twist. But I knew from jump something was wrong with him. He just seemed a little bit too damn eager.
Well, James,
So,
let me just cut you off. How do you compare this to the first Blair Witch movie?
I'll watch the first Blair Witch movie again, just because it didn't mean to be hilarious, but it had enough tension and it was an interesting movie, and I appreciated what they did with just a couple cameras. It was well done. I mean, the acting was shit, but whatever. It was still that creepy tension. It was a good movie to watch. Basically, as a movie to watch, it was great. This piece of shit, I will watch Suicide Squad again before I watch this shit.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
James, go ahead. Take a breath.
Okay. So, the first movie in my eyes, and part of my eyes alone, that was a pioneer movie. Why I say that is because it crossed the line between fake and reality. Because
and it was one of the first movies that had that from the character perspective, shaky cam, that did not exist. People were wondering why someone would decide to do that, and then a series of movies followed doing the exact same thing. But go ahead.
Right, exactly. And also, this was a pioneer movie for that aspect, and the aspect that you didn't know what was real and what was fake. Because when they did the advertising, they had newscasts, they had
Yeah, I remember
all
that.
of this other stuff, they had shit online, they had wanted posters. They went all in. So that's how it got me. Everyone wanted to see this movie, to my knowledge. Everyone wanted to see this movie because it was like, oh man, is this real? And they did a great job, right? The first movie built tension. It built tension with 2 cameras. That is how you do it. The key is here, and I've been saying it throughout this whole damn podcast, and or anytime we talk about a fucking horror movie, you gotta set the tone. This didn't set no fucking tone because, to be honest with you, I felt quite comfortable because I'm like, okay, well, we can see. I mean, everybody has a camera everywhere. It's like, well, you know what it was? It was real world out in the woods. That's what it was.
Yep.
Real fucking world out in the woods that's just running around doing whatever. That's what it was.
James, calm down.
Oh, hold on. One more thing. And also, this proves my point that they were trying to do the exact same fucking thing in this movie. Exact same thing with the advertising. Because you know what? You know what the name of this movie was before?
The Woods.
They say it was Blair Witch, The Woods, or Into the Woods or some shit. Come on, man. Like, at least give us the fucking title. There was a title for this shit. They knew
Yeah,
it was
there was
gonna
a
be
lot
Blair
of
Witch.
misdirection for this, that even there were panels done at conventions for the Woods movie.
Who thought of this shit? Who thought of this shit? Okay, I'm sorry. Go, Barry. Go.
All right. I want to go into the scores now. I think I know what the scores might be, but I'll start with Keith. What would you rate Blair Witch 2016?
I rate it as a 2.4. Now we're going this 5, so it's 2.5. I'll give it a 0.1 increase. That 0.5 for the unintentional hilarity. There were a few scenes that were hilarious.
Oh yeah, they were funny.
All right. So James, what would you rate?
0.5. I mean, no, yeah, 0.5.
Is that a 0.5 out of 2? Or is that 0.5 out of 0?
0.5. 0.5. Fuck this movie. This is the worst movie I've ever seen this year. I know there's going to be some more. And I've seen a lot of shitters. This is the worst movie I've seen. They tried something different and they failed miserably. Miserably. Like, if I was an actor in this, or if I was the director, I would take this shit off my resume. But you can't hide. You can't fucking hide. This is on you forever.
All right. That's been the Beast Game Podcast. You can find more of our podcasts at beastgame.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Eat a dick.
All right, guys.
So next time I say I don't want to watch a movie because of Bruce Lee, it sucks. I'm not watching that fucking movie, y'all.